Lawrence Powell, one of the Rodney King cops, to be tried again in Los Angeles. Welcome to the world, class of '92, and good luck finding a job. And goodbye to the master. Johnny Carson's final show is tonight.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Brokaw, reporting tonight from NBC News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. The next trial in the Rodney King case will stay in Los Angeles, and already that is bringing a protest, this time from the police side. And this time, there's just one defendant, Officer Lawrence Powell, the man who caused a deadlock in the original jury. NBC's George Lewis has more.
Powell's lawyer argued that it would be impossible for the policeman to get a fair trial in Los Angeles, that many people here have prejudged his guilt.
Our belief is that the only politically correct decision in this county is that of guilty.
He said jurors would be unduly pressured to vote to convict Powell.
For a juror to vote to acquit is to invite more rioting and to court personal risk with respect to their own personal safety.
There was immediate outrage right after the verdict in the original Rodney King beating trial, when 3 policemen were acquitted and the jury deadlocked on one remaining count involving Powell. The anger escalated into the riots, many blacks charging there was no justice in the mostly white suburb of Simi Valley. Los Angeles public officials joined in condemning the decision of the jury.
We wanted you to come tonight to express your outrage, your anger, your frustration. I don't know where they were, in outer space perhaps.
Remarks like that, Powell's lawyer argued today, have poisoned the atmosphere in Los Angeles. But the judge said there's been a lot of publicity about the Rodney King case and the riots, that there would be nothing gained by moving the trial.
It is therefore the ruling of this court that the retrial of this matter be within the county of Los Angeles.
The ruling got a positive response from some prominent blacks.
Yes, that's what we need. A small crack in the door of justice.
The celebrating may be premature. Powell's lawyer says he's going to a higher court to get the trial moved, and he says he's confident the court will rule in his favor. George Lewis, NBC News, Los Angeles.
The Los Angeles riots generated new political interest in the issue of family values, a discussion that's moving swiftly beyond Vice President Quayle's criticism of Murphy Brown as a single mother. NBC's John Cochran tonight at the president's home in Maine. John?
Tom, now that the dust is settling in the Murphy Brown affair, the focus is on whether the president really has a policy on family values. Bush thinks it is time to give Murphy Brown's morals a rest, but he will keep plugging away on family values. Ross Perot believes Bush's renewed interest in that vote winner resulted from Perot's advocacy of strong families recently on Meet the Press.
We had volunteers calling in from all over the country laughing and saying now they're talking about family values.
But as usual, it was Bill Clinton who got specific, saying today that Bush has no family policy.
No real policy to move people from welfare to work. No national policy to crack down on deadbeat parents who won't pay their child support. No family and medical leave policy so you can take care of your family without losing your job.
Bush vetoed a bill that would have forced companies to give workers time off to take care of new babies and some family emergencies. Too expensive for employers, said Bush. His conservative philosophy separates Bush from his critics on other family issues too, like education and health. Lobbyists for family organizations say Bush's health plan does not begin to help families with ailing and elderly relatives.
The next president, unlike President Bush, needs to deal with health care costs that are skyrocketing, needs to deal with the long-term care crisis.
Bush hopes voters will admire and reward his family values, even if they don't like his family issues. But what if voters prefer Ross Perot's values? White House spokesman Fitzwater says voters don't really know Perot, and soon may ask, what kind of monster are we buying here? Perot said that's just silly as bad-mouthing Murphy Brown. Tom?
Thank you, John. Another problem for the Bush administration is the seemingly endless flood of Haitian refugees. Thousands have fled their island nation trying to get to the United States. They have about a 1 in 3 chance of receiving asylum once they get here. 12,500 Haitians living in camps have filled to capacity the U.S. naval base in Guantanamo, Cuba. As many as 1,300 others are being housed on Coast Guard cutters. The Coast Guard will now only rescue those Haitians needing medical attention or who are in danger of drowning. The Voice of America is broadcasting pleas for Haitians to stay home. And NBC's Fred Francis left Haiti just a few hours ago. He's in Miami now, as you can see. Fred, what's the latest?
Tom, the condition in Haiti is very bad. This new Coast Guard policy will not stop Haitians from trying to get to Guantanamo or get to Miami. There are literally dozens of boats being built along the Haitian coast, these 30, 40-foot sailboats, and tens of thousands of people trying to scrounge up enough money to buy passage on those boats. The Coast Guard said they will let boats go by past the quarantine if those boats are seaworthy. Tom, I did not see any seaworthy boats in 2 days that I was there.
And what about the Haitians? Are they going to continue to try to come even with this new policy?
They say they will, Tom, even those who have been brought back. Tom, the human condition there is abysmal. Malnutrition is becoming epidemic, even on the very lush coast where there's a lot of fish and a lot of fruit. You see children with distended bellies. You see children with orange hair. Children there in the north coast of Haiti are getting one meal a day, and only then if they go to school and eat at school. So one healthcare worker told me today, an American said, he said, I've been a pacifist all my life, but the most humane thing the Americans can do is send the Marines. Tom?
Thank you, Fred Francis. When Nightly News continues in a moment, an Indian tribe faces down the government in Arizona over gambling, and later, a special farewell to America's television king. He needs no introduction.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, here's Johnny.
Still a standoff tonight at the Yavapai Indian Reservation in Arizona, but tribal leaders and state officials say they hope to work out a new deal for casino gambling within 30 days. More on this story now from NBC's Mike Betcher.
Once upon a time, their dance floor was limitless. Last century, 6,000 Yavapai Apache measured their wealth by the millions of acres. Now the prosperity of 500 surviving Yavapais is locked in the back of 6 trailers which are parked outside the tribal bingo hall. Last week, federal agents seized all of the tribe's video poker and blackjack machines. Federal law permits gambling machines on reservations if the state agrees. Arizona did not agree, and every gambling machine from every Indian casino in Arizona was seized. At the Yavapai Reservation, FBI agents never got out of the parking lot. Angry tribal members blockaded the driveway.
They're taking my scholarship away. They're taking the money away from the elderly.
Poker machines had bought the tribe a measure of prosperity. The Yavapai were determined to defend their bit of wealth and sovereignty.
They want that. It's got the American flag on it. They can have it.
Last week, Arizona Governor Fife Symington ordered a 10-day cooling-off period. Before the deadline passed, the governor and Indian leaders agreed yesterday to keep negotiating the future of Indian-run casinos. But the standoff continues. Until the gambling center opened, self-rule on Indian land meant nothing more than the management of a poor, almost jobless reservation.
7 + 7 = 8.
Suddenly, with gambling, there was money to buy equipment at the school. The children's parents found jobs at the casino, which was popular with nearby Phoenix residents.
If you take that away, we're without a lot of resources. The people are without the pride again. They're without the jobs. They're back on welfare.
Casino manager Gene Kochal is still permitted to offer bingo, but bingo doesn't produce much profit. Gambling machines do.
Why don't we have the right to practice free enterprise? You know, what happened to the good old capitalistic system?
5,000. Philip Dorchester, who operates the tribal gas station, believes the casino helped to break the reservation stereotype.
We're proud Apaches. We want to work for what we earn. We're taught that way, to earn.
Against the white man, the Yavapai have lost many more battles than they have won. They lost their wealth a century ago, and a century later, they could lose it again. Mike Betcher, NBC News, Fort McDowell, Arizona.
And for openers at least, it looks like life is dealing a losing hand for the college class of 1992. 1,100,000 graduates, the largest number ever, waiting for them just off campus. The toughest job market in 2 decades. Look what's happened since the high-flying 1980s. 1/3 fewer job openings for college graduates. And 1 in 6 has taken a lesser job, not requiring a degree. Prospects remain grim. NBC's Fred Briggs tonight on Coming of Age in a Recession.
College is supposed to prepare students for the real world.
Frederick Joseph Witt.
Good luck to you. What Boston University didn't prepare Greg Witt for was the 90s.
I always expected that when I graduated, I would have a job.
Suzanne Fine thought she'd have a job waiting for her, too. Like Greg Witt, she was a business major.
The relationship between the person and the organization.
At the start of her senior year at the University of Massachusetts, she was sending out resumes.
I know I definitely don't want to do sales. Definitely not.
What she would like is insurance underwriting. So far, no takers. She knew it would take time. A sister who graduated last year prepared her for this.
She just found a job a few weeks ago. It's been 10 months. And she sent out over 300 resumes, and psychologically, I'm scared.
Suzanne and Greg thought business school was the best entree to business. That's still true in a way. There are many openings for those with an MBA, a master's degree, but getting into a graduate program isn't always easy.
MBA programs don't require but strongly suggest that you have work experience.
A catch-22 at work here. First, the job. Resumes alone rarely succeed. Interviews help, but how to read them?
You sit there and you think, well, it went okay, it went great, I feel, psyched for it, and then you get the rejection letter in the mail. They would like me to reapply and that they appreciate my interest.
You think they really mean that?
No. No.
Greg would like to think his 4 years at a prestigious university, 4 very expensive years.
This is $100,000, Dad. Here you go.
That this would give him some edge. But this year,
a good education doesn't guarantee anything anymore.
Suzanne knows how tight the job market is, but refuses to get discouraged. They both keep their rejection letters around, hoping someday they can look back at them and laugh. Until then,
So far, it's just been disappointment, and it's very difficult to take.
This week, the class of '92 is hearing a lot of congratulations. What it wants to hear most is, when can you start? Fred Briggs, NBC News, Amherst, Massachusetts.
All of those eager job hunters can look elsewhere, of course, when it comes to one job opening, the king of late-night television. But he was in rare form last night.
Funny, that rainy